Flipping through all of these magazines, telling me who I'm supposed to be. Way too good at camouflage. Can't see what I am, I just see what I'm not. I'm guilty about everything that I eat. Feeling myself is a felony. Jedi level sabotage. Voices in my head make up my entourage. We'd always go into it blindly. I needed to lose you to find me. This dancer was killing me softly. I needed to hate you to love me. Why do I compare myself to everyone? And I always got my finger on the self-destruct. I wonder when I love me is enough. I wonder when I love me is enough. Why am I always looking for a ride or die? Cause mine's the only heart I'm gonna have for life. After all the times I went and fucked it up, I wonder when I love me is enough. You promised the world and I fell for it. I put you first and you adored it. Set fires to my forest and you let it burn. Sang off key in my chorus, cause it wasn't yours. I saw the signs and I ignored it. Rose-colored glasses all distorted. Set fire to my purpose and I let it burn. You got off on the hurting when it wasn't yours. Cause I'm a black belt when I'm beating up on myself, but I'm an expert in giving love to somebody else. I need myself and I don't see eye to eye. I need myself and I.
Nights. What is going on, everyone? It's your host with the most, Merrick Henry. How y'all doing today? With me, as always, is the great Sir Landman.
Yo, what it is?
Comma Barney.
That's me.
And we have
Barney Landman.
we have
Barney
a crap ton of people
Landman.
in the studio
Barney
today. We're really
Landman.
excited. If we could turn on our guest cam when you have a moment. We have this lovely panel of ladies here. Of course, we have Sarah, as always. You know her at this point. She's part of the fam. We've got Megan McGuire joining us today. And we have Jocelyn Aponte Mendez or Mendez Aponte? Mendez Aponte. Thank you. My apologies.
As you can tell, we're all beautiful ladies.
Yes.
In a studio.
That's what's most important.
Yep.
Hi, guys. We have a huge show for you today. We have gameplay. We have discussions. We have all kinds of things for you. We're really, really excited. And we have a special co-host today that'll be joining me in just a moment. I won't introduce her quite yet, but she's an incredible woman, and I'm sure you will love her as much as I do. Briefly looking through my bullet points I'm hitting up. Sarah, is there anything that I should be mentioning? Oh, first off, if you're going to be partaking in the show today, make sure that you subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook. We are all at Dirty Table Nights. There's all kinds of great content there for you, so make sure that you stay in touch with us there. Is there anything else that I'm missing, hun? Do you want to briefly talk about our big episode that we're going to be doing next month?
Oh, yeah. Something very exciting that we're all putting together. We are doing a very cool D&D episode, DM'd by yours truly.
Can't wait.
Yep, so it's going to
here
be
too, by the
very
way.
exciting.
Trapped in a Game
Barney,
Boy
there he is.
There he is, back in the Game
Poor
Boy.
Barney.
Home sweet home.
Yep.
Bleep, bloop.
But yeah, so we're really excited. We're thinking about doing that on August 14th. It's going to be a homebrew game. We have a lot of good guests, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if that interests you, tune in. We're very excited for it.
Yes, absolutely, we are. Sarah has also been
yeah.
doing a great job engaging with all of you in the Discord, because I am technologically inept. And she's been doing really good with that, and she's been keeping in touch with you guys as far as what you're looking for, and we are definitely listening to you as far as keeping basically our entire episodes up on YouTube so you can go back and watch old clips. And I'm not sure, I'm unfiltered here, I'm not sure if YouTube is actually going through at the moment yet, but if it's not, we will make sure that it's up and running for next week.
I think it is.
We think it is.
Yeah.
We've had issues before with it. We've talked to you guys about it, how much
Everyone's on Twitch right now.
Everyone's
so
on
we're
Twitch. Well,
good.
that's good. You're home where you should be. Is there anything else I'm missing? Oh, my goodness. I have a concert coming up on Tuesday.
Of course.
Forgetting everything. I've been up for a long time, guys. Don't mind me. I have another big concert that's coming up on Tuesday, July 14th, this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m., where we'll just be doing more music. more covers, more originals, more all kinds of things, more dancing.
All kinds of fun green screen effects.
Yeah.
Working on
We are
that.
It's
so
gonna be a show.
I'm always
It's gonna
cooking.
be a show.
It's going to be a show. That will be Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel, and we're very excited for that. So be sure to tune in for that. Last time we did a show right before my big concert. We had to cancel a whole week of nights so we could plan for it. Luckily, we don't have to do that this time because we're a little more prepared.
Yes.
Oh, look at that! Speaking of Hamilton, why don't I start things off with just
Start
some,
things up with this table in front of you. I mean, what?
I know
Look at
usually
this.
we just have
Look at
crappy
this
Power Ranger toys on here,
swag.
but we really upgraded.
I think you might know a super fan.
I might be related to one.
I think you might be.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Thank God for eBay. We'll have to add that caption in.
Yes, thank God for eBay. New merch.
Is this sponsored by eBay or
eBay,
Sponsorship.
sponsorship?
That requires money.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
eBay,
Yes,
get in
it
touch if you want to
does.
sponsor us. We are interested.
Never pay full price. All right, so I will start with this brief thought on Hamilton, which obviously just dropped on Disney Plus last Friday, just in time for July 4th weekend. So here are my thoughts on this.
Should we say spoilers at this point? We're pretty. We might be
yeah,
pretty spoiler heavy.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Go and watch it right now, then come back and watch this.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Hamilton's dead.
But not that we could spoil it because
It's history.
it's so amazing that we could tell you the whole story and even do our versions of the songs, and you would still want to see it.
No, exactly. There's only
Honestly,
so much you get from the cast album.
Yeah, we were talking about it before stream, and there's definitely some songs we want to cover. So stay tuned.
But yeah, full spoilers ahead. I think everyone knows me at this point. Like if we talk about something,
Honestly.
like there's
We're
no
gonna be-
spoiler-free review of anything.
Yeah.
That costs way too much time that I don't have. Anyway,
Yeah.
so every year, Broadway produces these big musicals that take the theater community by storm. And then every decade, there's usually a musical that tends to be bigger than most. A show that defines each decade when you think of that specific point in time. What would define a super musical? In my book, they would have to compete for a lot of Tonys. Most of the good ones do. They have to make a lot of money. And then they have to be continually successful on Broadway so that community theaters won't get the rights to do them for a very long time. Specific ones stand out in my mind. You have Les Miserables of the 80s, only fully becoming available just a few years ago after you had reduced versions. Like there was the school version that was out there, and maybe there was a junior version out there, but it wasn't until a few years ago that we got the full-fledged production that we could do anywhere. Lion King was that for the 90s, becoming the biggest musical of all time. Personally, it's my favorite musical. I mean, you can do a junior version of it now, but it's still not the full-fledged thing, so give and take. It's still going to be a long time before we get that, because it's still making money. You have Wicked for the 2000s, and I mean, it's still bringing in money, and that's not going to, those rights are going to get released for a long time. But then you get to the 2010s, and you name one show that just defines the past decade and becoming one of the most successful Broadway shows of all time. You're thinking Hamilton. What makes it so huge and feel bigger than most other shows out there? Well, it was nominated for a record 16 Tonys. It won 11. It's only second place from the producers, winning 12 back in 2001. Its social media presence has been huge. It's made great use of behind-the-scenes videos and ticket lotteries that included Ham for Ham shows, where cast members and special guests would perform before each lottery, before each show, and usually those would cause traffic issues all up and down the street just outside the Richard Rodgers Theater. These performances were obviously spread around thanks to social media and all the videos that went around, and it only hyped up the actual presence of the show. They eventually stopped these, but they still have tons of online lotteries for the tickets every day, and usually gets a lot of hits on the website, so it's still super popular. They released the Hamilton mixtape, which I do have right here, where featured pop, R&B, and hip-hop artists collaborated on songs from the original show, as well as it highlighted demos by Lin-Manuel himself that were originally written for the show, but just didn't make the final cut. most recently, of course, the show featuring almost the entire cast, the original cast, was dropped on Disney Plus. It only cost Disney $75 million to get the rights to put it out.
Serious?
I ain't
Just
kidding.
that much, though. That's like nothing.
Don't think I'm
It's
lying.
just a handful
Yeah.
of cash,
That's
right?
fine.
Like, that's so.
Not a problem.
If only we had that much.
You just imagine Disney had it in their pocket. They were like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, here you
Sarah, if only we had $5 to put together this show. Originally, it was supposed to be put out in theaters, in movie theaters. That was the original plan. But then once they announced that Broadway wasn't coming back till at least January of next year, that's when they decided to push it out on
interesting.
streaming.
Wonder if do you think that would have made a difference to how popular it is and was?
No, but I think it's having a bigger impact now because
I
it's
think so.
being broadly direct to the consumer.
For sure,
Where
yeah.
everyone can now engage in it all at the same time. It would have made money in the movies. I don't know if it would
I
have been.
think so. I don't think it would have been quite as it would have been getting quite as many views right now.
Yeah,
at
maybe if
least.
they did like a 2-week engagement or something. I don't know what the plans were as far as that goes, but
Yeah.
clearly it's having a ton of success being available to everyone, especially since so many people downloaded Disney Plus the
And it's-
day that it dropped just to get it.
And,
So
and
it's only-
anyone who's seen it is promoting it like mad, or at least I am.
or like we are right now.
It's my first question I ask anyone these days. Have you seen Hamilton?
You couldn't get tickets to the show, but now it's everywhere. It was a running gag on like almost every TV sitcom. Like, you got tickets to
It
Hamilton?
was such an exclusive
If
thing.
you
and
knew
now
somebody that went to Hamilton, they were like blessed.
and you got celebrities like, yeah, I went 4 times. Good for you.
It must be nice.
Yeah.
It must
be
be nice.
Pun number 1. If you
I'm
were starting
sorry.
a drinking game at home of all the puns we're making on Hamilton, if you know the show.
There's
Keep 'em
going to
coming,
be so
keep 'em
many
coming,
of these.
keep 'em
So, no,
coming.
you're
Oh,
good.
you're
Take
not
Be
gonna-
sips,
prepared.
tiny sips. Don't
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't overindulge
don't
yourself.
please no.
Obviously, the show is going to continue to be massive,
Yeah.
as I'm sure it's not going to be released to the public for any time soon, with rights and such. It's going to live on forever as part of the Disney family.
Yep.
Any friend in the theater community will be singing of its praises for many years to come. It was a game-changing musical that not only incorporated heavy amounts of hip-hop and rap, as well as some elements of British invasion, because why not? Lynn created In the Heights.
Still here.
Yeah. Lynn created In the Heights before the musical, before this show, so it's not like this is the first time that we've had a rap hip-hop musical out there. But this was why it felt truly different. Hamilton came at a time of major political divide, and we're still going through it. It was good to look back on where our country started. It demonstrates that the Constitution isn't perfect, and it was meant to be a starting point for the U.S., and we can keep adding to it and changing it as needed. Change is healthy, whether we like it or
Crazy.
not.
That's crazy talk, Merrick.
Yeah.
I'm a radical leftist. We can look back and see how far we've come, but we also have to be aware of how much more we need to fix in order to get to a better place. Being released as a theatrical film in 2020 on Disney Plus only enhances its relevance related to diversity and representation on stage and screen. It highlights political divide and scandal as we approach the 2020 election. It took a cabinet of people to create this production, but it really only took one man to make it a reality. After starting out as a concept mixtape about someone who embodied hip-hop and later becoming a full-fledged musical, Hamilton is representative of Lin-Manuel Miranda's hopes and dreams as a writer, creator, and innovator. It's almost an autobiography. It's the American dream realized. It appears that this show will continue to be important for generations to come. It's popular and important. Quoting Common at the 2016 Tony Awards, simply put, it's one of the greatest pieces of art ever made. And now, I have to include our special co-host guest, ladies and gentlemen, making her on-camera debut on Nights at the Dirty Table. It's Mama Henry.
Woo! This is my mom, guys. She's great.
This is the Zendan's mom.
Can you
Right
believe
here.
it?
If a studio could have a mom, she's right here.
If the
Scoot in there,
studio could
Mama.
have a
Scoot
mom.
in.
Come on in,
Get-
Mama.
get her in
I'm
frame.
gonna-
Our set.
The table,
It's a
the dirty table
disaster.
couldn't handle
It's a
the
disaster.
excitement.
Do you
That's
want me
okay.
to pick that up?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Definitely at least just get it flat. There we go. You don't have to put it back up.
There we go. It's all good.
This is just routine, guys,
Yeah.
at this point. So
Pretty
there
standard.
you go.
It's
Look,
my
we can
fault
see
for
your
setting a
nose.
death trap here at the dirty table, but it's also
Yeah,
not.
that and the dirty table is always a death trap.
All right, so there we
So
go.
this
That's
is all
good.
my stuff, guys.
Yeah. She loves eBay. We love
She
eBay.
is obsessed.
It runs in her family.
Would you describe yourself as obsessed, Joan,
Obsessed.
with it? Yes.
This is the woman that like
Can you
drives
hear
around
her
in
okay,
her
Barney?
van.
As far as cool. Just figured I would check and
listens
ask.
to it on the daily.
So
Hi,
why don't
everybody.
Hello, Mama.
why don't we open up the panel and our thoughts on Hamilton before I get to a super fan here.
Oh
So.
goodness.
Oh my gosh.
It's
There's so much.
genius.
Sarah, I'll start with you and we'll work our way down.
I just love it. I just think it's pure genius.
Can I
Like,
start with a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Up until last week, you had only seen the CD.
Yes.
You listened to it over and over and over again.
Obsessive.
Just saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some of the things that you did not expect or things that took you by surprise when you were watching it on the
It's
play?
just like it's such a good thing about theater is when you see a show, there's just these little details that you just don't get from a CD. Like for those of you that have listened to it, you know, there's this part in Helpless where they're walking down the aisle and like everyone has this little thing and then Mulligan is like throwing like flowers and
Yeah.
it's just these
He
tiny
just throws a little like handful of
yeah,
pepper.
Yeah.
and it's hilarious.
It looks
and it's,
seems so he seems so like out of place in that role and it's brilliant.
yeah, and there's like I said, it's just these small little details that just make the show, you know. And then there are definitely some
There's so
things.
many of them.
Yeah, there's some things in the show that you don't get from the CD. So it's
Yeah.
just it's so good. It's so great.
Even the
To-
scene where Lawrence is killed, basically.
Yes.
They
Oh my
omitted
gosh.
that from
Didn't even know.
the album.
Yeah.
So that
Saved
was-
it.
Yeah.
Did
He
you-
saved that. He wanted to make that so that anybody who saw the play had one little thing that nobody else could see that was on the CD. So nobody knew about it until it started to get played
Which at the time,
online.
a lot of us didn't know if we were ever going to see the damn show. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, just
Now-
like Eliza's scream too after Philip
end.
dies. Like, oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was that. Oh, the
I
gasp
saw
too.
the
Yeah,
baby.
I-
it was so bad.
from there on, I was just crying just for the rest of the show, and I was with
Oh, it took you that long to start?
Yeah, no, well, hey, I'm a sensitive
I was
person
literally
myself.
crying in the first number, but
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
like I explained, I cry at half.
You do.
It's
I know. Well, a friend of mine actually was with us watching it. It was my boyfriend, my godmother, my mother, and our friend. And he had to stare at the costumes. And he's like, I can't, those are nice costumes. And he just,
Speaking
because
of-
he was
speaking
trying
of
not to
which.
cry so hard. Yeah, those are lovely, these are lovely
costumes
costumes
are
right
great.
here. But
Your background on your
that's
laptop?
Good. I was going to ask you that.
Oh yeah, we got
Look
you
at those
covered.
pretty
I wasn't
Those
passing
are
that up.
so
Look
nice.
at them pretty.
So
Beautiful
to answer
cast.
your question, I had primarily listened to the album, and I had a friend who had seen the musical before it won the Tonys, and so she told me some of the little things like about the bullet, the gasp, the scream, and everything. Just that wasn't shown. You know, you couldn't get it from the album. So it was really cool just hearing all this stuff, but still, I was just hearing it. I wasn't seeing it. So to finally see it.
So she
was
saw
just-
it in New York?
She did.
How much did she pay for it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
At Richard Rogers or at the first theater?
I'd have to ask her.
Yeah.
I can't answer that question, but it might have been the Richard Rogers.
Okay.
But
That's
no,
exciting, though.
Yeah. It was really cool. Just hearing about it, and I was like, oh, I really want to go see it. And then it won the Tonys, and I couldn't afford to go see it. So
Honestly, yeah.
yeah.
Justin, I actually have a specific question for you. So you were, if I'm recalling social media posts correctly, you were a part of the Disney College program.
Yes.
Before y'all got shipped back up. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
My heart goes out to you, truly. Did you have any thoughts on when Disney announced that they had acquired Hamilton to be put out there? I know you're a huge Disney fan, so I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if you had any feelings as far as one of your favorite companies acquiring this musical.
I mean, I was excited. I already had Disney Plus, so I was gonna
Heck yeah,
watch
dude.
it. Obviously, we had no idea. Like, if you work at Disney, you don't have any inside information. So
No,
we
I
didn't know it
get
was
that.
gonna
No, I
come.
mean just like when you
Yeah.
first heard it.
I mean, it was exciting because I feel like when it comes to streaming services with Broadway shows and pro shots, like I think there's like Broadway HD and a few other ones, but it doesn't seem like they kind of infiltrate the main streaming services. So to have Disney be able to bring it on was really exciting and I think really cool. And it's accessible to more people because it's not that expensive.
No,
I think
absolutely.
It's even cheaper than Netflix sometimes.
Mhm.
So yeah.
It makes you wonder if Disney might go to acquire more. Because, I mean, obviously they did Into the Woods
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
years ago,
Yes.
and that
Yeah.
was surprisingly incredibly well done.
It really
Yeah.
was.
Didn't they have a pitch about Wicked too, or something at one point? They were trying to acquire rights to Wicked.
Well, I'm sure they're going to be making a
Yeah,
push for it now.
maybe.
I hope so.
honestly.
That'd be great.
Oh, it's King. Look, it's Jonathan.
We
Gordon.
we gotta talk King George now that
That is
he's
I
popped
love
up.
him so much.
Just-
How amazing is that performance? Did you guys know about the walk? How he developed the walk? That very iconic walk as he comes out?
I thought it was that he
No.
had to like balance the crown on his head.
It
or
was
something.
precisely that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
first crown when he came back, the crown was significantly lighter because the first one had broken. But in the first run, the crown was so heavy and so it could easily fall off. So he had to do this like perfect walk. Also, he's in heels for that. So he does this
Right.
like one foot in front of the other heel, and also the
gosh.
little shimmy shoulder dance. Like it's all because he had to keep this crown on his head.
It's such an
But
energetic song
it
too. You wouldn't
adds to the
expect that. Like,
performance.
yeah.
Yeah, the fact that the song is so upbeat and his delivery is kind of more subdued
Yeah.
is brilliant.
Can you say some of the people that were in King George besides
Yeah,
him?
I was just going to mention. So, as far as replacement actors went, I found out very recently that Taron Killam from SNL took on the role at one point. I was like,
What?
Brian Darcy James, who was Shrek on Broadway, he
I
took
did
over.
see that, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the original cast,
Yeah.
but when I see King, I
I see
see
Jonathan-
Jonathan Groff.
yeah.
No,
I
right.
think Brian actually came first before him, and then he went on to do another show, so they put in.
Yeah, and
That's
then
right,
eventually
yeah.
he came back.
And then
but-
they kind of go
And
in
I-
between.
And I
Okay.
forget which one it was,
Interesting.
but whoever was doing it at the time when they went back to record, graciously let Groff take over
Right.
the part.
And
because
then
he was
Andrew
so
Rannell
iconic.
is in it, and he's got his own show now, Miami or something. Black Monday.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
So on one of the Ham for Hams, they've got 3 of the King Georges that come out and sing all together. Hilarious.
They do the Schuyler sisters
Yep.
as the Schuyler sisters.
Yes.
And then Renee plays Burr.
Is there a clip of that online?
Yeah,
Oh my
it's on-
god.
Yeah, we need
All
to look
part
at
of the
that later.
presence of
If you want to spend
Yeah.
the evenings, start on Ham for Ham, and just you'll be there for hours and hours because they just keep on going. There's dozens
As
of
she
them.
has multiple times, and then indulged me with all of his knowledge afterwards.
Crossover Lord said that with Disney Plus, there's no way they can't not open the door for other live
That's what I'm
musicals.
saying.
I really hope
There's
so.
no
I
way.
really hope so.
Like,
The amount of downloads that they got for this, like I know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, has clearly stated that they were not intending on making money on
Yeah.
Disney Plus for at least 5 years after launch because they had the capital to back it up. But clearly, they can start maybe like a year ahead of schedule in terms of making a profit if they continue to
Yeah.
bring in more musicals. Because maybe some thespians are against the idea of these modern musical tellings. Maybe they'll be inspired to grab it with an older show that maybe no one else had the rights to before. I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's just
like you said with
I would love to see
Wicked,
that.
like they would
I-
make
yeah.
that's a classic.
Wicked.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way.
Well, I've seen like storyboards online that fans have made and like the style of Disney, like a 2D animation.
Heck yeah.
And I'm like, I would love to see that. Like, that would be so nice.
Didn't Disney do some other like Wicked Witch of the West film like way
Like a
back,
prequel?
like, a few
Oh,
years
with
ago?
like the
I
wizard
think?
and Mila
Yeah.
Kunis was the Wicked.
It was Oz,
Oh,
right?
the
It was
movie?
like,
Was
The
it
Hunt?
Oz?
Yep.
The Green Pal?
Yep.
yes, yes.
James
Yeah,
Franco
James
was in that.
Franco.
Yep.
that
What a time!
was an experience.
I guess we
That
don't,
was a weird
I guess we
night.
don't talk about that.
But I think if COVID hadn't happened and we were still, working as we normally would, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that Disney would have just gone and, I don't know if Wicked would have been $75 million worth, but they probably would have had the capital back up
Yeah.
either way. So I'm sure they would have swiped it up. Now, I don't know. It's anybody's game, but they probably would have if they could.
I don't know. Do you remember those live musicals that they've been doing, like Rent and Little Mermaid?
Yes. While
Yeah.
shaky, while incredibly shaky, and some
Yeah.
some more than others.
Yes.
No reason why Brian Williams' daughter needed to be Peter Pan. That was obviously a bot job, but it was still good to have the exposure
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
people that wouldn't normally get to see a Broadway show. Like maybe
Yeah.
there's people out in Wyoming who can't afford the plane ticket to get to New York, and then
Yeah.
food and the
Yeah.
tickets themselves and everything else that goes
Yeah.
with it. So I was
New York
fine
is
with the exposure.
expensive.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is
I'm
so
here.
expensive.
I went
yeah.
to see Beetlejuice, and it was Oh God.
But you're happy you spent the money to experience
Oh yeah,
it,
it was
right?
an amazing experience, and I highly suggest anyone that has a chance to go to New York, not because of the pandemic, but you know,
Please do not.
after, long after, you should definitely go. It is an experience that you have to have. I feel like at least once in your life. So
Was Beetlejuice, was that the first?
yes. Yeah. Well, no, because when I was younger, I saw Phantom, and then we saw another show. Yeah, which.
But your memory was
Phantom-
terrible back then, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's still terrible, but we're getting there.
I wanted you to admit it on the air.
Oh, Merrick, you're so nice.
Let me throw in for local theater, if you can't go to New York, there are plenty of theaters around here that are top quality also. There's one up in Gardner, Theater of the Mount, that does shows that I think are as good as Boston. There's shows in Sterling, there's shows down in Worcester.
Support
There's
your local
really
theater.
good local
Yeah.
theater around here with great people, very, very talented. So
And
you can
if
go
you-
and see theater without going to Boston, without going to New York.
You're going to be proud of me. I'm going to work in a plug. And if you do support your local theater, that means that you can engage in my mother's partnered costume shop, ACTS, Atlantic Coast Theatrical Supply. So if you go to see a show, chances are her costumes are going to be up on stage. So support your local theater
Nice.
for Mama Henry.
And we're going to be online, so you can find us. Merrick's going to put us on with all the rest of his little.
Yeah, I got to buy a
theaters there.
website. And yeah,
Yep.
we'll figure it out later. But
You
anyway.
can make them for free, you know.
There's also
Yeah.
Squarespace.
Yeah,
What was that
Squarespace.
again?
Squarespace is pretty
we were just
good,
talking about
yeah.
that.
What was it that you said?
You can get them for free.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Websites.
but I
figure it
mean,
out.
if you want to buy one, anyways.
You mean the website? Yeah, we don't want to pay money
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. Had either of you ever experienced a Broadway show?
A
I don't know if I
Broadway
ever actually
show,
asked.
or Hamilton specifically.
Either or, I guess.
There are other ones.
I saw Hamilton at the Boston Opera House when it came in, I was like November 2018, I think. So I saw it then because I had a family friend who was like a partner with the theater or something, so they had early access to tickets, so we were able to get them.
That's dope.
But Broadway in general, yes. My school, I was in the culinary program at my school, and we did a trip to New York City every single year. And for students, the tickets were $10, and that included like your hotel and your bus, which is insanely cheap. So we stayed like in the financial district. So every night we had free time, and so I always tried to go see a show because I would buy like the
Nice.
same day like discount tickets. So I sat front row at Chicago for like $75. And then I also saw The Play That Goes Wrong, which obviously is an musical,
that
but
is
it's
the most
hilarious.
amazing
So
thing.
good.
And then I saw Anastasia the last time I went.
Well, clearly we went to the wrong high school. Clearly we.
No.
college.
No.
Oh, college?
Yeah.
We still went to.
went to the
I
wrong
went to
college.
Richmond State, so that's still just as bad.
Wrong college.
So you just mean like New York Broadway, right?
Anything, yeah.
I've
Extravagant theater experience, whatever.
seen extravagant.
Warm feelings.
Okay, gosh, I'm
Every
so
day is
bad
an
with-
extravagant theater experience with you, Merrick.
How dare you?
How very dare
Mary's a theater genius when
In
it comes
terms of New York,
Sorry, Becky, go ahead.
it's okay. No, sorry. In terms of New York, I did get to go see The Lion King. It was my first Broadway musical on Broadway to see. My mom got me tickets, or my uncle got us tickets for my birthday. And it was really fun. It was such an experience. I walked into the theater, the show had not started, and I started sobbing. So it was a really nice experience. I've seen some shows in Boston. I've seen Wicked. I've seen, oh goodness, I think I saw Les Miserables in Boston. I think. Don't quote me on that.
So you're hitting up all the super musicals we're talking
I-
about. This
yeah.
is great. You're hitting up everyone.
Boston's so good though. If you
No,
can't
definitely.
go to New York, Boston.
Boston
Oh,
is
for
so
sure.
good.
Amazing.
Yeah, support Boston theater too.
I don't
It's-
know what year you went down to see it, but Chris Jackson was Simba in The Lion King before he was in Hamilton.
It was 2018.
This
So
would have probably been before, but
Yeah.
he was first in the touring company and grew up in it, and then became Simba for a couple of years.
I need to check my Lion King playbill.
Checking her Lion King playbill,
I
just
saw it in
scrolling through.
Boston.
If
When
you
I
look,
was in middle
if you look in
school.
the, if you look in the book, the Lion King book with all the pictures of all the costumes that she made, there's a little picture of him traveling on the bus when he was first traveling. He was a little kid, teenager.
Did you also know that in the original cast, Samuel E. Wright, who portrayed Mufasa on stage, he was the voice of Sebastian in The Little Mermaid. So Sebastian was Mufasa, like a decade later.
Think about that.
Nominated
real
for a
quick.
Tony. How epic is that?
Right.
Wow, they had the range in the character.
I freaking love Sammy Wright, so
He's-
that's why I
yeah,
had
so
to
cool.
mention that little tidbit. But yeah, Barney, have you ever experienced since you were telling me off camera that you were a distinguished theater kid
Oliver.
for your performance in Oliver?
Please tell us about your experience as
I
a
was like,
theater.
I was going to be in a performance of Oliver that I forget why, but it never actually happened in the end. So we rehearsed for months, and I loved it, but we were never actually put on the show, which sucks. But no, as far as like, I've never seen anything on Broadway. Like the closest thing I can think is more local productions, you know, or I might have seen a touring production of something, but nothing comes to mind. Especially nothing from the major sort of Broadway family.
yeah.
I would love to.
I was gonna say
I
once
was
the,
saying,
once the
like,
gates open.
I was saying if I was in, I as I've already mentioned, like was basically crying through the whole thing, and it's because but not at the saddest part. Weirdly, because I cry at like happy stuff or just
Yeah.
like great music, and so yeah, I was sort of gently sobbing through the whole thing, and I turned and was telling everyone here at the end, I was like, if I'd seen this live in theater, I don't know if like I probably would have just been like
Water in
floods
the
of-
eyes the entire time. I can't
floods of
see.
So,
tears, 'cause
so
it
many
gets
so many celebrities have said that they couldn't even go backstage to talk to anybody because they were
Right.
crying so hard.
I know, and I was driving here listening to the soundtrack as I have been every day since, and I was thinking like, how would I react if I met Lin-Manuel at this point? Like I would just break down in tears immediately, and I'd be like, wait, I want to talk to you, but I can't.
He's genius. Like I can't say
It's-
that enough.
yeah.
Just the fact, for those of you that don't know, I mean, he wrote Into the Heights and then Hamilton, which are both just works of genius.
They're so
Into the-
good.
into
Gone on
Like-
to write music for Moana,
Yep.
co-starred in Mary Poppins
Yep.
Returns. I mean, the guy's set.
Actually, if
Yeah.
you've ever listened to the 15-minute musical 21 Jump Street, too, that is so good. It's not as well known, but it's so
Yeah.
I'll have to deep dive
21
on that
It's
one.
very
said
good.
Chump
it's
Street?
on
21
YouTube.
Chump Street. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Chump
think
Street.
Anthony
Yep,
Ramos.
Anthony Ramos is in
Yeah.
it. But it's basically just about a real event that happened where a woman who is a police officer, is some kind of investigator.
She's an undercover investigator, I
Yeah.
believe. She she goes as a student to a school. She undercover, and Anthony Ramos's character falls in love with her, and she hooks him up. She sets him up basically with like a drug bust and arrests him by the end of the
and
musical.
his life
It's-
is ruined.
Yeah.
And that's a real event that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
This is when he was in high school. He was a little kid, just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
got cast in the lead, had never been in a play before. He's gone on to become everything that he is now.
He's gonna
Wow.
be
He's gonna be
Lynn's
huge.
part in the Heights in the upcoming film in 2021. Just saw him in a Crown Royal commercial
He's in a great
recently.
Crown Royal
I
commercial
wouldn't have
with his
recognized him
mom.
before, but now he's got the most recognizable face. It's like, yeah, you drink that liquor, man. You go.
heck yeah, we know you.
I actually do have a question for our distinguished panel as far as Lynn goes. So he's created Hamilton, one of the greatest pieces of art ever made, as distinguished by the Kennedy Center. Do we think that Lin-Manuel will maybe create something else outside of Hamilton? Not necessarily bigger, because I don't know if you can get bigger than this, but do you think he's got something else in him? Anyone can jump in as far as Lynn.
I mean, I think definitely. I think just, what he's done so far is just like the tip of the iceberg. He can do so much more, And even if he doesn't, he's set. He's so set, But I think he's definitely capable. And if something pops into his head, we know that he's going to do it. That's his mindset. So I think so.
Yeah, I'd say on that same note, we don't know until he does something else, until he
Yeah,
puts something
really.
else. I know he said, I've been following him on Twitter, and I know he's posted stuff like, there will never be anything like Hamilton. I don't think I'll
Yeah.
ever be able to make anything else like that. So, but we honestly don't know that.
Yeah.
We
He
don't-
probably
we
thought the
don't
same
know
thing
that.
of In the Heights.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
one of the things that he says is that Hamilton wasn't just me. He brought in the seeds of the ideas. But when he accepted the Kennedy Center honors, he wouldn't accept it just for himself. He accepted it with 3 other collaborators. And he says everybody in the cast added, everybody in the band added, everybody contributed to this. So this is not just me. We started with an idea, and then everybody threw in their talents and made it as big. So
Those other the other people that were honored, it was the choreographer, the music
Alice
director, and the director,
Lackmore.
right?
Yeah.
who
Tommy
Andy
Kail.
Blankenshauer, I can't say his
Yeah.
name.
Was Tommy Kail one of
Tommy
them?
Kail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah,
the,
thank
the
you.
core,
Mhm.
the core group. That makes sense.
Not to interrupt what you're saying,
Please.
but Kat from the chat here said that he's already working on something else.
He's working on Tick
So-
Tick Boom right now, which
course
is a takeoff on the guy that started Rent and died. So he had written another little play called Tick Tick Boom, and that was like on the background for a long time. And now Lynn is in the process of doing the soundtrack for that. He's
Again,
also
pure
doing
genius.
another thing for Disney. It's another like Moana, and I'm sorry I can't remember what it is, but they're in the middle of doing that. But they're kind of waiting because of the
Oh, I'm not
flu.
surprised he's always going to find work.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's
no.
not,
And I feel
that's not
like
even
He's
a question.
proved he's more than capable of like
Yeah.
doing what he's doing, you know.
And I feel like he always
So-
tweets that he's like still writing. So he is still creating, whether or not
Yeah.
it's stuff that we'll get to see
Yeah.
or it'll be as successful as Hamilton.
I'm
We
still
don't-
alive, guys. Don't
And
you worry.
now
gonna
he's
sit
at the
here and
point
twiddle
where
our
everybody
thumbs.
collaborates with him. So it's nothing for
Yeah.
him to work with Stephen Sondheim and do something, and somebody else, oh, I've got an idea here. Kantner, he did a big thing with. So everybody's dying to work with him, so who knows what he's going to come up with.
Yeah.
It says here Netflix has the rights to Tick Tick Boom.
Yep.
Oh,
Interesting.
did not know
And
that.
also,
interesting.
Freestyle Love Supreme is coming out. That's the
Yeah.
hip-hop group that they started with when he was in college.
Oh,
And
which
they've
is
got a
how
movie that's
David,
coming-
Yes.
Huh?
which
Yeah,
is how
that's how
David
David
was
got
was
it.
asked to
Yes,
be in.
and Christopher Jackson's in it, and that is coming on Netflix very soon. But I looked last night; it's not there yet, but it's going to be there very soon.
That's gonna be
It's
awesome.
exciting.
That's gonna be a must watch.
So, I'm probably not the only one who has had all of the songs playing at one time in my head since this dropped on Disney Plus.
So
it's
weird.
it's like you
It's
you
almost
have.
like you're helpless.
Merrick, I think you're truly satisfied.
I'm going to cancel this show.
He's never satisfied.
Good Lord, I hate
I
being in
mean-
the room where it happens. Anyway,
do
so
it.
clearly every song's playing all
so
at once.
seamless.
Does anyone
But they all
have?
fit together.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
literally one
yeah.
track after another, and it's if you crank them all to 100, and they're all just blasting all at
One
once.
of my, I think my favorite thing about the music specifically is the motifs that come up again and again. And musicals have done that for a long time, but I don't think any musical has ever done it quite as successfully with like these little motifs that come back
Yeah.
in like 3 songs, 4 songs,
Well,
5
yeah, because
songs.
these ones are good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're it's so
Preach.
clever. Even just with the the look around, and that is sung in different keys, in different songs, in different ways, and it has different meanings, and that is like
And I
that's
think
my
you can
favorite
largely
thing.
blame that on Alec Lackmore because
Yeah.
he can just take the gem of it,
Yeah, yeah.
the beginning of a song and turn it into huge things that fit
Right.
into everything.
Like this giant beautiful musical puzzle that just fits together perfectly.
Yeah.
Lynn says that he's not responsible for that stuff. But that's,
Right.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's-
He's very good at giving credit to
Yeah.
other
where
people.
it's done.
Right.
'Cause he
Right.
knows.
He also, I heard he missed one show on Broadway because he was sick, and he would hear every day. He would hear, oh, so and so is going to be at the show tonight. Beyonce is going to be at the show tonight. Whoever all these people are going to be. So he hears, I forget who it was. He hears someone's going to be at the show, and he's lying in bed with an IV in his arm, and he said he pulled it out and got up and was like, I'm fine, I can do this. And his wife is like, no, you need to get back into bed. Like, that's the dedication though.
So my question for all of those here is, if you had to pick one song that you could do at cabaret karaoke from Hamilton, what would it be and why? Anyone can jump in, by all
In
means.
chat too, let us know. 'cause
Yes.
You never know, we might do it.
If Crossover Lord's got something that he would blast out, let's go. Let's get that.
yeah.
Well, if you did Disney, the two of you did Disney, you certainly could do that.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely we've talked about it. So
Yeah. We talked about it pre-stream.
yeah.
I
Stay tuned.
Definitely, I definitely want to make. I mean, I'll start it off because I just
Please.
love. Yeah, nonstop. Crossover Lord says nonstop. Nonstop is amazing, but I would have to say the room where it happens. There's something about that track I love.
Yeah.
It's definitely that song. I think is one of those songs where the album doesn't quite do that particular song justice. It's Leslie being on stage around everyone, being able to move with it and go with it.
There isn't really a song that isn't improved by the visual aspect, but that is definitely one of the
that to me was the biggest
stronger
one of like
ones.
it's a totally different.
What about you, Merrick?
Wait for it. That would
Oh,
be
yeah. Sounds good
my
too.
instinctive one, which again that was another song where once you see it and just you feel it so much more. By no means would I ever intentionally audition for Hamilton unless King George was up for grabs. That would be the role that I would do.
Yep.
But if I could do a song out of a show where in most cases it's fine to do that, that would be the song that I would go for. And
That was what Sarah and I both said when King George came out. We were like, "There's Merrick's
Yeah,
part."
we're both just like, hey, it's him.
Ladies?
Go down the line. I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like the 10 dual commandments, but like the last, I don't know. I think it's the same song, but it's like where Hamilton dies.
The reprise?
I guess. Just because it's seeing it and like we talked briefly about the bullet that's shown.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
just it speaks volumes. Like it's so great.
Well, and there's no accompaniment to it either. It's
know.
just
Yeah.
free spoken.
that's the song you would do for cabaret karaoke.
Oh no, I missed that.
She just gets on stage.
Hey, I'm super smart. My name's Sarah.
No, it's okay to have a standout song. I'm just like, well,
Yeah,
You wouldn't need an
fine.
accompanist. I mean, yeah.
Oh goodness. Story of Tonight. It's really good. Simple. It's good.
It's wonderful.
What about you?
You were asking the most indecisive person on this planet. I would never be able to do the role, but I would love to be able to do Congratulations. It was never in the show, but it was one of the demos that is sung by Angelica, and it packs such a punch. And I
have to
think
check
that's
that out.
why it jumps out at me so much, just because it's just so powerful in its own right. And it's one of the songs I wish was actually still in the musical. I think they should have kept it.
For that matter, you could do the song that they cut out about,
John
That's
Adams?
Enough, John. Yeah.
That's enough, John.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was just gonna mention that. Have you
Yeah.
heard that?
yes, I have.
Yeah, a lot of f bombs, but
I
it's
gotta
good.
do some-
I promise.
some research.
Disney
good.
would not approve.
No.
That's why it got taken out. No, I'm just kidding. It
And-
just didn't fit.
So kind of on the same track. I love the song First Burn, which it's not on the mixtape, but it was a separate release, and it was like the first cut, I think, of Burn. So like I love the song Burn. I don't think it'd be great for karaoke.
Fair enough.
Really
No, that's
sad,
fine.
really
No,
slow.
You have to cry. That's the only way
Yeah.
that you have to cry.
Any
crowd
songs
down,
written
though,
for
for the
Hamilton are fair
Yeah.
game because
Yeah.
chances are everyone in that audience at a cabaret karaoke is going to know what you're singing.
You can bring
Yes.
your own basket of fire. Everybody would like
Yeah, or you could set the place on fire, but it's fine.
Method actors. Ugh.
Bring me my basket of fire.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we actually have a place to talk about it. Like I feel like I'm joining in on the conversation because all of my thespian friends have they've listened to the album tens of hundreds of times, and it's not that I was ever adamantly against Hamilton at all. It's just everyone was so into it, and I was just kind of focused on other things in my life. But now that we're all able to have the ticket to see the show, it feels kind of wonderful that
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can all partake in it and
yeah.
actually know the plot and see everything. And it's like this is one of those few times where I am actually watching what everyone else is watching, because otherwise I'm wearing shows that involve tights and capes and bat ears on occasion. So this is a branching off for me, but I'm glad that we're all able to.
I've been
Merrick's
enjoy this
dream
together.
I've been
is to be
begging
a
for
real
him.
life Power Ranger, just so everyone's
Oh,
aware.
Yep.
You've
It's
been knowing.
his dream.
Amazing.
We actually
I've been begging for him to watch it for 4 years, and he just absolutely resisted because no, everybody, it's too popular, don't want to, haven't got time.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
stand by
And
that.
now,
I get that feeling.
Now-
finally this week, he's
Yeah.
jumping in both feet, and
Well,
it's
I'm not gonna
glorious.
lie. It helped that I had captions so I could actually read along and follow the plot. Like
Yes.
otherwise, with part of my autism,
There's
it's just
a
it all
lot.
becomes noise and there's
Which
so much
Lynn
to take
also
in.
put in Spanish captions for people who needed it in
nice.
Spanish.
I can only imagine the guy typing up those.
He was going
captions.
crazy, 144 words a minute.
That's incredible.
It is the Broadway production with the most words per minute, which is probably very unsurprising, but it's like double the
Yeah.
one
I read
in
something
second
that
place.
at the fastest point, David Diggs says like 6 words in a second or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh my
He
god.
gets.
That sounds accurate.
But
He
I'm
gets,
not gonna
uh,
talk
Is that
about
from
it.
Guns and
Guns and
Chips,
Chips,
right?
yeah.
He gets 15 words into like 2.7 seconds or something.
Have you guys tried to like copy that?
My
Like,
friend can do
I'm-
that. My
Really?
same friend who saw it can do that
Every
song.
little
Yeah.
kid in high
Yeah.
school can do it. When we go and do
Yeah,
theater
yeah.
costumes for everybody and everydy's backstage, all the kids can do everything
Just
that
press
Dudley
play.
does.
Let them go off.
They
They
can
know
do
what they're
every
doing.
word.
It's fine.
Drop the mic. I will. Give me a couple of months, and I'll tell you. How.
It's helpful when you actually have the words. So like in the
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yeah, the
Hamilton
Hamilton
book,
Yeah.
Half the
Yeah.
tempo
you
would be
can
fine
have it.
too.
You
Maybe.
can
Speaking of props, if I may, bring this without
Destroying
the
everything.
table. Got it. So,
I'm so
Get
proud
ready
of
to
you,
cut the
Mary.
camera.
if I can just briefly show the book that inspired Hamilton, because what was he on a plane or something, going to like to
He
vacation
went-
or
He
whatever?
was
He
going
went-
on vacation.
Yeah.
He went in the airport.
And this was the book, minus the Hamilton logo, because that didn't exist. But this was the book that he had read that inspired the show, Alexander Hamilton, by Ron Chernow. And not that I have any experts in that, because I'm not a major reader, but I just thought it was interesting to have the original book on hand that
I want
inspired
to
him.
read that. Or I
He
want
just
to listen
wants-
to the
Also available in
audiobook.
audiobook as
He
well.
just
Yeah.
wanted a
Myself.
fat book to read on vacation because he just finished Within the Heights and he was tired and they were going to go to the beach and he was, oh, I'll grab this book because when I was in junior high school, I had done one book report on the duel between Burr and Hamilton. So I knew a little bit about it. This is what he's saying. And it just struck me that I just grab a book and that's what I would read. He says, as soon as I got to the beach and opened the first chapter, I realized that this is the story of everybody I know in hip hop. This
And
is the
it-
same thing because they write their way out.
It led to an empire.
Yep.
A total empire. Mom picked up an original playbill with the original cast in it, so that's an exciting piece of memorabilia. We also have audio book on the history of George Washington. We also have
Which is
the
written by Ron Charno.
What's the
My
Spamilton? Yeah, I was gonna.
Hamilton, an American
God.
parody.
The
Oh, no.
funniest,
What is
funniest,
that?
I've heard clips from that. I believe.
hilarious. It's a takeoff on everything about Lynn. If you love Lynn and worship him, this will cut him to ribbons.
Add it
And
to
it's
your local
pretty
shrine
funny.
today.
Brilliant.
But
It's
yeah.
very good lyrics, very fast lyrics, but it's just taking the mickey out of the whole play.
So if anybody questioned if there was a legitimate fandom that went along with this, trust me, this show is about fandoms,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
we've hit up a legitimate fandom.
Hey,
Mom even
did,
got a 2019 calendar over here.
Did
so.
anyone notice? I just heard, I'm not sure if I read or heard it, but the guy who played Washington at
Chris
the
Jackson.
at the end, Chris Jackson, he wanted to, make some kind of reference to Washington's involvement with slavery, and he couldn't figure out how to do that because there was no, it wasn't like putting a line in or anything.
It was definitely a positive highlight of all these characters.
But if
and
you,
putting
yes,
them
but,
together.
not yet.
but if you look carefully, and I noticed this happening, I just didn't know why it was happening, but he explained that why, when Eliza at the very end mentions something about atonement for our mistakes or something like that, you can see Washington clearly in the background sort of nods as if to accept responsibility and bows his head and steps back into the darkness, which is a really, talking details, like such a tiny little detail, and it's something that was purely a physical thing, and but very powerful. And
Well,
I
it just
think
goes
I
to
really,
show how much room for details there were
Yeah.
in this script. There are some shows where it's just too light that you can't really fit in any form of darkness. Music Man comes to mind.
Yeah.
Annie is one of them. Oh, I can't sit through Annie.
That was my first musical I ever saw. That was the moment that I was like, yeah, I'm a theater kid.
This is it.
Yeah,
This is the one.
This is what I want to do.
Little girls.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I knew I am never doing this show for a 3-month commitment ever.
we used to sing I used to sing Dumb Dog to my dog all the time. She was following me. Dumb Dog.
Merrick, were you in The Sound of Music?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
were.
that was a memory I had too. It was like Merrick was like this cute little kid and he was singing The Sound of Music.
And I
It
hit
was-
that high note
He hit
as
that
Kurt,
high note.
and I was
I was so proud.
very happy of that because I always had to make sure
That's
don't muck it up. Don't muck it up.
Yeah.
Let me also mention that he played Billy down in Chicago, down in Tampa, Florida. They just handed him the part. They had 2 weeks down there. and they
Thanks.
said,
Thanks for
Merrick-
hyping me up, Mother. I appreciate that.
We're all proud of you.
Yeah, it was
Best
for
organ in it.
He
just
hasn't seen it on stage, but he played it.
for sake of conversation, when I was on my internship for college, I was with the Broadway Theater Project, and we worked down in Tampa. It was a 3-week musical theater intensive, and the program had been around for like 30 years, mentioned in Broadway World and all these other
publications, and for the first time in its 30-year history, they decided to do a full-fledged musical. So we got the full Samuel French company script of
In 2
Chicago,
weeks.
and we had 3. But it was one of the most exhausting adventures of my life, but I learned a crap ton, and I am super grateful to Deb McWaters, who was an assistant choreographer on the revival production of Chicago, which is still on Broadway, sans COVID. Herman Payne, who's a co-artistic director, he's worked with Usher, Whitney Houston, Maya, Michael Jackson, the list goes on and on. His record, he was also on SNL as a featured dancer between a couple of the skits, so just the panel that we've had come through. That's where I met Todrick Hall.
Oh my,
down
you
there.
met Todrick
Oh,
Hall.
yeah.
That was the only reason why I
They-
went, was because
They're
Todrick Hall.
contacts.
Yep.
Dude.
Best
They're
buds.
contacts.
Best
Todrick,
buds.
like,
They're
Todrick
like
liked
this.
his dancing.
They're like this.
Yeah, that's,
Nice.
yeah.
Said if you come out to California, let me know.
I was trying to be courteous when we were going through his dance routine. It was from one of his songs from Straight Outta Oz. I was, because I knew I was older. I'm like, I want to make sure the kids were there, but the teachers kept pushing me to the front. So I'm like, all right, if you don't want to be courteous, won't be courteous. I'm ready to just go ham. But that was the reason why I went, was because of Todrick. And yeah, great panel. But
So Merrick brought me to see Todrick in Boston, and we loved it.
He's so good. He's so
I got to
So-
fit in with everybody.
There's a talented
Yeah,
individual right there.
in chat here, he's asking what other musicals that we like that are kind of our favorites that are on like top tier.
You brought up Sound of Music, and that is way up there for me. I love the Sound of Music.
well, there's just so much texture to
Cabaret.
that.
Cabaret is so
Les
good.
Mis.
Yeah.
Les Mis is my favorite.
Shows that have reasons behind them. That
Yes.
when you come out, you say, "Well, that was worth my time."
Yeah.
That was not just fun and games. That was thoughts and
Yeah.
improved my life for having seen it.
I personally typically like musicals that feature African American performers in prominent roles. Dreamgirls is absolutely up there for me. The Wiz is up there for me.
Smokey
Obviously,
Joe's.
Lion King, Smokey Joe's Cafe, Hairspray. These are all shows that I can never do,
The Color
but they're
Purple?
still my favorites.
Yeah,
Color Purple,
Color
yeah,
Purple
it's
is-
up there.
yeah.
Those are typically the shows. I just
And
can never do them.
Suzical.
I could do Suzical.
Oh,
I've done that
that
I
twice.
brings us
love
back
Suzical.
there.
I think it's got all kinds of great things to learn from.
It's
you
the
know?
one show that's always available for any theater to
It's,
do.
it's true.
I don't know. For me, it's like South Pacific and a Phantom of the Opera. They just speak to me. Like, I get goosebumps every time I see the movie or I see the performance, and
Yeah.
it's so great to me.
Yeah. That's,
What about Cats, the new version?
I mean, we love it.
no.
Butthole or no butthole?
Good. Taylor Swift.
God, I am.
Jason Derulo. Sorry.
Oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name.
You're blanking on every
was-
role you've
no,
ever done?
I know.
What it's about. Maybe I can give it to
It's
you.
well, you would know, I believe. You went to KCACTF.
I did, yes.
Um,
Roller skates?
I only went twice though, so I don't know if that
Xanadu?
necessarily helps.
Xanadu
Xanadu.
also
it wasn't.
great,
It
by the
wasn't
way.
Xanadu. It was.
I love Xanadu.
It was so powerful. And I'm blanking on the name because I have issues with retrieval. But
That's okay.
Yeah. One of the songs. Okay, so it's complicated. There's a wife and a husband. They live together in the South. And
Oklahoma.
no.
You yourself, but I'm like, I was Oklahoma.
No.
I like this.
and-
This should have been the game all along. We'll describe our favorite
What am I
musical.
thinking of?
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't think it's as well known.
Probably not. KCACTF is well known for experimental theater.
It's
Urinetown?
it's true. I love Urinetown. Urinetown.
Really?
I played Little Sally.
I saw
at
her
my
as
high
Little
school.
Sally.
Yeah.
She was
Amazing.
wonderful. at
Thank
Oakmont.
you. It was a lot of fun.
That's why you look so good.
Sarah's meeting one of her favorite celebrities, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo.
Oh, we're gonna talk later. I got some stories.
So just it was something about a husband and his wife live in the South, and the husband works at, I believe it's like a factory or something, and a little girl goes missing and dies. And
Is he Jewish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and
Yep.
the town turns on him.
Yep.
And
I've never seen this.
Oh, it's
I have
wonderful.
no
it's.
idea what
Do you
it
know
is.
the name of it?
I'm working on it
Help
here.
me, please. This is so embarrassing. We're live.
Well, it's set in the 1920s.
Yes.
And it's the women all working in the shirt factory.
Yes.
So we're on the same wavelength
Yeah.
here.
There a couple of the songs are "You Don't Know This Man," I think it's like "The Red Hills of Old." is another
It's
song.
not Karis. No.
No.
That's
It's on the tip of my tongue.
I know
now.
it as the
It's-
as the movie. I didn't know it as a play.
It's a musical. So it
Okay.
was I went down to the Kennedy Center Theater Festival one year with my college,
Oh, okay.
Westfield State, and we, I think it was in Connecticut that they were showing this show.
Probably, yeah. They switch between that and Hyannis like every so often. So
Yeah,
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so for the last 2 years I went, it was in Connecticut, and they did this. I think it was like the second time I went, or something. It was like the first year it was.
Can
in
you work on
Connecticut.
titles on how many words are in the title?
I can't remember.
A lot or a little?
I would have only
Welcome
seen
to the show,
Drowsy
guys.
Chaperone
Can I
there.
pull out my phone? real
Yes,
quick?
Of course you
please.
can.
Drowsy
No, we're
Chaperone.
Professional? What?
In the meantime, we
costs
go
money.
chaperone and I throw out Into the Woods.
Yes.
Money, Merrick was just in.
Oh,
and
yeah,
We
Into the
did
Woods
that
is
at
up there.
Fitchburg State, and it was
That's-
beyond fabulous.
Oh, I love Into the
Yep.
Woods too. That's
going, keep
yeah.
going.
I'm going.
Anyway, we'll go to
yes.
Jocelyn. Jocelyn,
So
we're-
my
Were
favorite
you-
musical is Les Mis.
You read?
Les Mis.
So I've seen multiple productions of it. I saw it in the West End actually, which is really exciting.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because it's like the longest running show
Yep.
there,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah,
but
it
it
is their big,
closed
longest running.
recently, I think. I'm pretty sure, not due to COVID.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Well, they timed that one right.
But yeah, that one's always been my favorite because it's just like a really, really great story. Did you find it?
No, I'm gonna let you finish. I found it, but you go ahead.
Okay. And then I love, it's more modern, but Anastasia. I love that.
Yes.
I've always loved the movie, and Anastasia's always been my favorite princess, even though she's not a Disney princess.
But she is now.
She's
Sorry,
got a
Disney.
story.
But yeah, so I love that musical too, and I think the cast was really talented in it too.
Have you been in plays? Are you a theater geek?
I went to theater camp with Merrick for like 2 years, I think.
And what kind of things were you in?
Well, we were at Spotlight together. We were
Yep.
in Anything Goes together, and then I was also in Guys and Dolls 1 year there. And then I just did theater through like middle school, other than the camp. So,
I think that's why I recognize you, because I was also in Spotlight.
oh,
At the Mounts.
She was
say
in
you guys were all
Oklahoma.
friends.
Yeah,
That's great.
I was in Oklahoma and Shrek one year too. I played Pinocchio. But
Were you in Shrek at the college? Or was it just Sterling Theater?
No, just Sterling.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, tell what he was. So I don't
Merrick
be
was
mom.
Farquaad.
amazing.
Of course.
That is, and we were talking like yesterday or a few days ago, and he said that is the one role that he would do again and again. It's very
Yeah,
good.
I know that's the one thing
Yeah.
that I could do better. Maybe also the cat from Honk, but with Farquaad, there's just so much more texture to it, or at least for colorful characters. That's one that I would do. No, Jocelyn, I was going to say, I know that you were
First
never
musical.
quite as involved as maybe some of the rest of us, but I
Yeah.
know your knowledge is so up there. So
Yeah,
I was never worried that you weren't gonna
Yeah,
add to the
so-
conversation.
I wasn't like super involved with theater, especially in high school. I just kind of like dropped it because I was playing like 2 sports and I was in band and all that, so I didn't have time for it. But I'm always like keeping track of like what's new and what's coming in, and going to shows and
Yeah.
listening to soundtracks. So
Would you go back to the world? I obviously know that you're still in school, right? Yeah.
no, I graduated.
You graduated.
Oh,
Okay. So if you had the
congratulations.
choice, like say if there was an audition for a show that you were interested in, would you consider going back for it?
I thought about it a few times when I was in college about doing theater there, and I just never kind of went back to it. But I definitely miss performing a little bit. I used to do dance
Please
too.
consider Theater the
Did you
Mount.
go to the dance center?
No.
Darn it. Okay.
I went to a really small school in Lunenburg. But I did dance all through high school, so there were a few times where I was at Disney, and I was thinking, like, when I was going to full-time, like, I was contemplating seeing if they had auditions for performers to, like, get back into dance, because I
Definitely.
miss doing that so much. So,
Well, I say it is never too late to go back out there. So you have the full Dirty Table endorsement to
thank you.
get back out there when, of course, everything is
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the name of the play?
Virtual. Okay, I should have started with I love Lion King. That's one of my favorites. Sorry, guys. The name of the show is Parade.
Oh,
It's
Parade.
Parade.
Really?
It's another show that deals with very difficult topics, kind of like Hamilton, kind of like Wicked or Les Mis. And it is, I recommend it. If you have not seen it, go out and see it. It is so powerful. Listen to the
there's
soundtrack.
They had it in Boston
an
not too long
out and out
ago.
movie about it that is not called Parade.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's straight drama. Because I don't know you're saying it's a musical?
It's a musical.
I don't know the musical of it, but I know
Yeah.
the movie of it. Jack Lemmon was in it, as a matter of fact.
I
Really?
guess
Okay.
the events surrounding the investigation and trial, the real
Yes.
one, was responsible for the revival of the defunct KKK.
Yes.
And the birth of the Jewish Civil Rights Organization,
Yes.
the Anti-Defamation League. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
if you look
It's-
on
it's crazy. It's
IMDb and
That's
Jack
a-
Lemmon, you'll find the name of it in there somewhere.
Yes. I think it was based on a true story.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is. Oh, yeah, it really happened.
So,
Well,
pardon my lack
I
of
think-
history knowledge.
I think this is a wonderful point where we are going to take a brief pause, and
here
we're going to play
goes.
some terrible video games. So,
Guys, I'm nervous.
Here we go.
oh, it's so
I
bad.
embarrass
Stay
myself on
tuned,
the
y'all.
daily.
We will be right back here on Knights of
Yeah,
the Purity
love
Table.
you guys.
right, host will do it first.
We are
Fine.
live.
We can do 2-player
Oh.
if we want to. I'll leave this.
We're back.
Hey.
Yo, yo, yo.
Hello,
We are
everyone.
back. We are back. Yeah.
Welcome
we are
back to our pitiful show. Let's play some bad games. I haven't gone through the whole list yet. I think there's like these tiny stars.
I'm gonna learn how to fly.
So, should I do Bend and Snap or Dreamgirls?
Bend and snap. Bend and snap.
We'll go
But I
find
feel
Bend
like
and Snap.
Dreamgirls
Bend
is
and
your
snap.
thing, though. Do Dreamgirls. I know you want to do it.
No, the floor has Bend and Snap. I'll probably come back to Dreamgirls by the time we're done.
Do we have the dark side from Dreamgirls on this?
No, not this one, just the title song. A time warp, we're in the money, you can't stop the beat. Where, did I miss it? Oh, I went by it. Which one?
Pick your female character,
You don't have a
but it
choice.
has to be female.
So for those that know the Just Dance franchise, made by Ubisoft, this game was also made by Ubisoft, but they had no money left over for it, so all of the songs recorded for this, none of them are the original recordings at all. They had an in-house group record this. We can tell because of the quality.
Oh yeah, Mary. Look at those hips. Hell yeah.
Oh my God. Hey, hey. Eat it up, Twitch. I just gotta point the remote well. That's all I gotta do. No skill. What is this move?
Sounds like Megan Mullally.
Hey, hey. That's debatable. Why is this a move?
Bend and snap.
Hey.
Hey, wait a second, when I beckoned, how the guys came running like a finger, like a freaking stunning. Hate this stuff I buy, make me cake and pie, hold me when I cry, I will tell you why. I'm too rockin' to walk away, all the boys having rock away, dropping jaws from a block away, watching how I walk away. To watch her walk away.
Yeah. I'm trying to sell it. Why is this here? Sell it, cause this game sucks. Oh, both ways.
That looks like it's coming out of one of the players' butts. Like, are you guys see that?
This water is coming out of my ass. It's like cats with buttholes.
Oh, you just saw what? Oh, yeah.
Paulette,
Meh,
did I leave my
meh.
stylus?
And then she breaks his neck.
Yay! Ah,
That's what happens in the musical.
Well, that was
is the
enjoyable.
woman bends and snaps
I hope all of
plays
our
the guy's
devoted
nose.
fans are eating this up.
I don't know if I'll be able to follow this, but I'll try.
It's got to be better than me. So does that mean you're up?
I guess I'm up.
You volunteered yourself. Excellent.
Oh, what have I done?
Pick and choose.
I'm going to pick and choose.
Have fun. Be safe. Don't die.
Okay. Oh, it's been a while. Oh, I thought that would be easy.
That's hilarious.
I was hoping cabaret was going to be easy.
Oh no.
I'm not doing that.
Is time working?
Welcome, this shit's hard. Welcome.
Ooh, you can do hairspray.
I find it interesting they have 2 Hairspray songs.
Hairspray was the favorite. Really.
Why are show tunes so difficult?
Why do you have to put effort
Money,
into
money.
Um,
My favorite thing.
Why is that here?
I don't
How
know.
do you
Why would
dance
you
to that
dance to
song?
that? You know, I guess we're going to have to find out.
Heck
Guys.
I
yeah,
love
dude.
that attitude.
Heck
Which one
yeah.
do you know
Go
what it's
for
like?
broke.
Okay, let's find out, guys.
Oh,
goodness. Let's see. I like her dress, and she's like really into it. So we'll do this.
Yeah, she's definitely feeling the pretty.
She's feeling the pretty. That's not even the song this time. Oh boy, if I throw this, guys, I'm sorry.
If you do, aim for Merrick.
Full target.
Merrick, why don't you dance with cider? Can you dance with cider? Get it,
You can
man.
do it.
I would have needed a second remote. I'm not opposed to a double.
You won't get
Cider.
points. It's
Yeah,
okay.
just dance with cider.
Oh, we're doing a lyrical.
Oh, what the flip?
Oh gosh.
Ooh, the flute's popping though. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
That's really nice.
Oh, how lovely.
Killing the game, girl.
Thank you.
The game doesn't know. They're liars.
It doesn't know what's happening.
We know the truth.
I don't know
Twitch
what's
knows the
happening.
truth.
Which? Oh, I'm that one. Okay.
This is too ballady for me, though.
What am I doing? Oh god.
What is going
What
on?
is happening? What is this song? I guess I'm getting points, but that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
I should have
I
stayed
never
there.
knew Julie Andrews had backup dancers for this. I must have been seeing a totally different
What
scene.
is this? Oh god.
Oh my god, they're popping. They're popping off.
Should I be in first position or second?
Oh, and Barney's cruising through.
Barney's dancing in the background.
There it is. Get it, queen.
Sell it. Okay. Why would they have the one on the right if nobody's playing it right now? It's very confusing.
Friendly reminder, if you want to see more fantastic, if you want to see more fantastic, awful games, make sure that you subscribe to our Twitch channel. Follow us as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We are the Dirty Table Knights here at Knights of the Dirty Table.
Join our Discord family.
Yes, I did. It's Electric Boogaloo.
Oh god.
Hey, 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 hey.
Oh, that line. Great.
forgot how-
Great lyricist. Wonderful.
I forgot how long the song was.
Yes,
Get it,
Almost
girl.
over, right?
Oh, we added set dressing.
Oh my god.
they're just adding the sun now. Oh gosh, I missed this song.
They didn't have enough budget to put the full set in the full songs.
This song is definitely not the song. I know for a fact.
I was thinking, it's like if Julie Andrews had like Destiny's Child backing her up, like.
This one's for you, Fitchburg.
Hurtful.
Yeah!
A round of applause for Megan for killing it. Yes.
After you.
And you said that you have this game at home, correct?
I do.
Yes, by all means, please. Yes, enjoy the pizza. Was there a song that stuck out in your mind that you remember like killing it
I
on?
used to do Fame all the time, I think.
Drinks and lemonade.
What difficulty is Fame?
I think it's easy.
Oh, all right. I was gonna say I would think that was a difficult one.
Here, I'll do it.
Go for it.
Heck yeah, dude.
Go for the gold.
What is she? I didn't miss what she's doing.
Fame.
Yeah. You said this one was your favorite.
They said it's easy. I don't remember it being easy. But
That's
okay.
debatable. Welcome to Cheap Community Theater Presents.
Hey.
Oh, they got a set for this one. West Side Story?
West Side Story is so good.
Look at that. Look at that precise.
Killing it.
Oh my gosh.
She's got the remote in the right spot.
They
Yes.
could have had this in Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed dancing.
Amazing.
Killing it. Yes. Alright, so Barney's got the next round. Yes. Well, clearly my placement of Weird is atrocious in comparison, so you're killing it.
It's all muscle memory now.
If I remember correctly, the like sewer grate pops off.
What? The sewer grate pops off? Well, the budget had to go away sometime, right? Because clearly they spent so much on this opening set. Never particularly cared for the musical, but I definitely love the song. It does. It does hit different. No, I never actually seen the movie. It's just the music itself just hit it.
I missed the other one.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Sewer grate. That was so well timed too.
Keeping track of scores? Who's winning?
Jocelyn's crushing it, so like it's not even close.
Wait, she has the game though?
Huh?
She has the game?
Yes.
She's cheating.
Did you bring the game over to friend's house?
I don't think so. None of my friends liked theater as much as I did. So.
Gotcha. Well, that's why we're here now, to make it up for it.
Well,
Well, woohoo! She absolutely crushed it. So now
this
Barney
guy, you know, was
has to
having
be
fun.
Barney just cracked his
a
knuckles.
bona fide master.
Yeah. He's ready.
There's an awful lot of theater costume shops.
Oh, I cannot wait for this.
We're still here.
What?
That's really pretty.
I want to see a stud rock it
I
out.
actually was going to try to work or I was actually going to try to work with this but unfortunately,
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, I think you got to.
so you'd be working with Bob.
What?
and,
Oh my god.
I like this guy. Does it matter?
yeah, or Jeff. Yeah, he's great, yeah.
Do the one. Yeah, do that one.
It kind of looks like me. somehow. That's just like Barney energy.
Oh
now,
my
it's
God.
hold.
I don't know if this is aged well in 2020.
Asking my landlord to please wait.
You got it, Barney.
Yeah, he does.
I know.
I do the
Also, check out
virtual
Barney's
for
really
some
cool
virtual
shirt,
musical
Knight's merch we got
Oh, I
there.
didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Hit us up in the Discord. Get your own shirt.
Hell yeah.
Cheap community theater.
Oh, I have to get to
Ooh,
my
this is
emoji.
cheap.
On a crop.
Barney!
I have to be a lion.
Oh my god.
Get it, big man. Well, that's I think
Barney's
I think you're the blue guy who's just snapping.
So I'm not supposed to be doing it?
I think you're doing whatever the blue guy's doing.
Yeah, this is the blue guy.
I think you're being Tazu. Killing it.
So I just have to do this?
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah, shout out to Kat
He's
in
not a
chat.
king.
I like it.
Was this done in a black box or?
Now when I accept the
They said you have 2 months to make this game, ship it in a black box, just get it done. Hey!
Actually, do you imagine Lion King in the round?
Lion King in the round? That would be incredible.
That would be really fun.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
I saw Wizard of Oz. That was pretty cool. The tornado hit different. in the round.
Different, he says. Barney.
Oh, those
You're up next, Sarah.
What? No. Oh,
Yeah, you are.
oh, okay. Oh boy.
I think it's time that you and I
Do it, Mary.
arrange to heart to heart.
Yes, Rockstar.
This is
Great.
where the monarchy is headed.
Help me
Country
out.
out of South Africa. I wouldn't have a doubt. This child is getting wildly out of hand.
The recording of this.
So good.
We all have something now that people can just put out and be like.
Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be clips of us on the internet. It's gonna be bad.
Wait, was there a contract for this?
Oh crap! Merrick, you found out!
You signed it in blood the moment you walked in.
Everywhere you look like, standing in the
Spotlight. Not yet.
There it is.
Let's
Hear it burning on the wind. It's gonna be considered a kind of thing.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
I can say that.
Oh, you just can't wait.
That sounds like a child. That sounds like a child.
What happened to you?
Oh my god.
Oh, what a terrible final note. Congratulations, Barney, you're a king!
Yeah, I was in.
Or you're an
I don't
advisor.
have to wait to be a king. I'm already one.
That's the spirit.
I've never used a Wii, so I don't know how to use it.
Oh, start the excuses. Start the excuses.
So you're gonna point it. Yep, go down. Point it down to song selection.
So we
Yep. And remember, she had the remote the other way around, folks. All right, pick your battles.
So 3 means hard,
Yes.
2 means fun. Oh god. Oh my god, this is gonna be so bad.
Yes.
I picked all the easy ones.
Superfragalistic.
We own it.
The Time Warp.
Alright,
There's
you
some
know
good
what?
songs on
I
this.
feel like maybe.
Go
Okay.
for it.
Oh yeah. This is gonna be so bad, guys.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'll be the prettiest.
Choose your king.
She said, I would like you to make some 1920s Poirot
Stretches.
quotes.
Yes. Yes.
So, I was
Build that up. Yes.
very good, and I
Yes.
was gonna do contrasting lining. I thought that was a good idea.
Lining's wrong.
Cut out, there you go.
That's great. I'm
2 weeks
cleaning
before,
up.
she says, "Dan, why don't you make them the same color?"
Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah LeBlanc.
Go Sarah! Go Sarah!
All black outside. Now I've got
It's
some
astounding. Time is fleeting.
Get it, girl. Oh. Yes.
so bad.
Takes its toll. But listen closely.
Not for very much longer.
I've got to keep control.
How about this? This is like the
My typical pelvic thrust in music videos. Yeah, that's yeah, Rockstar.
Look at the hip that they made.
This community has timing? What the hell?
They tried it.
With your hands on your hips.
Get jazz at the same time.
Oh my god! So
There it is.
What is that?
Sarah, you're driving me insane.
I don't know.
Pelvic thrust.
This is hard. That's too much. Oh, it's like, hey, someone clip this. Why are people on the floor?
What are Brad and Jade doing?
What is happening? They okay?
Jade must have lost her glasses or something.
What is Black 34?
Rocky Horror Cross Doors.
That'd be so good. I'd pay for that. Literally like the floss.
Crossover says the characters in this one just smell of the imbalance.
It kind of reeks of this house. I will admit though, the three people on the left,
Does he also give us the sweet hot bags too? That means Packers there.
yes. Yes.
It's just a joke. With your hands on your hips.
So bad.
Sarah's gonna lose 20 pounds by doing this.
I need it.
Very long.
Swing in the back.
Brad and Jade are like something.
They're just running.
Session.
They know where the front door is. They know how to get out of there. If I didn't know this would break it.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to join in with me for our grand
Do we
finale?
have another controller?
We do actually. Doesn't take
Alright.
that much.
Barney, are you gonna do it?
I'm up.
Barney and Merrick are up.
But let's all dance. Me and Mary can dance in the front. You guys can dance.
Oh, totally,
I'm
absolutely.
so for that. Sure. We'll just baby
Our-
steps. I
our-
don't put this.
Our big musical finale for a musical episode of Knights of the Dirty Table. Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, alright, if we're gonna do a finale song, I think we have to do You Can't Stop the Beat.
Oh, no. I'm down.
Oh, I don't know this choreo.
Yeah, just do it.
I think that's the best way to go. Alright,
That's good.
can you double check and point the remote to see if it's alive? It is.
Maybe almost everybody.
Alright.
Dinosaur.
Gucci?
Yeah.
Alright. Does everyone have enough room? Semi-social distancing-ish? Don't go too hard and
T-Rex
kill a
arms
chair?
and whatnot.
We're gonna try not to punch each other, but no promises.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the company of Knights of the Dirty Table.
Mary, where's
Proudly
your
presents-
strap? You might damage your Wii controller. Crazy.
I got this on eBay!
You might damage your TV.
Wapoosh. Knights of the Dirty Table presents a terrible finale. Oh my god. Hey.
get Megan Mullally again. Did they get Megan Mullally to do this?
You really think so? Oh my god.
What is that?
Some hard thrust. Break those hips.
It's like a punch thrust.
You can either follow me or Barney, I guess. We're motioning, baby.
I can never get those the right way around. Yeah! A what?
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to see this after we're done.
Oh god. I can't do this.
Thrust!
Here we go again.
I'm just gonna keep going with this.
Satan joins the cast.
Who let the demon in here?
Oh, it's Mom. Okay. Not Mama Henry. That's not what I meant. Mama to the lead character. Cause the world keeps spinning round and round, and my heart keeps time with the speed of sound.
Are we there yet?
I don't think so. We had a key change. That means we're not there yet.
Yeah!
We should have stretched.
Honestly. There'll be a moment where I'm just standing in the footage so don't mind me.
Cool down. Almost there. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Knights of the Dirty Table. Give us the toning.
We deserve it.
I didn't beat you by that much, Party. That was like, I only beat you by 500 points. That was tough.
I won the moral victory.
I believe it. Oh,
I don't know, I think we
man.
all scored pretty well.
Yeah, we're all great backup dancers.
Well, it's hot in the studio. We can't do another dance even if we wanted to, and believe me, we don't want to. So, ladies and gentlemen,
pizza.
Jocelyn, Megan, Sarah, Mama Henry off on the camera, Barney Lehman clapping on the side. I'm the host that nobody asked for. Thank you so much. Again, if you have not already, subscribed and followed us on everything. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, And here on Twitch, of course. Subscribe, follow, do all of those things. Make sure
Join
you
our
follow.
Discord family.
Yes, join the Discord family. Barney, follow him at the Zenden Studios on Facebook and Instagram. Of course, you can follow me on everything, whether you like to or not. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
Your
at
show.
Herrick Menry. I got my big show. Thank you, sir. I got my big show coming up on Tuesday, July 14th, 7 p.m. on my YouTube channel, Merrick Henry. We'll be doing a whole bunch more songs. We'll be utilizing this whole set. And yeah, tune in for that. What are we doing next week for the show?
We don't know yet, but stay tuned. We're gonna be playing some games. Jackbox.
Jackbox.
Yeah.
Jackbox.
Whoever can tune in, come play games. Will be fun on my mic, so I hope they can hear this. But yeah, be cool.
Don't forget, be cool. Barney, do you have anything else you want to add before we hit the hay?
Yeah, be cool.
We love you guys.
Good talk, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. We will see you next week, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Peace. Da 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 da.